Hello, welcome back to MotoLabDirtBikes.com. I'm your host, Rob Kosler. Today we're here with Clay Stuckey, who is the U.S. Importer of the French brand Sherco. So thanks for having us today.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Yeah. So Clay, could you kind of give us a little history on how you came to be about the U.S. importer of the Sherco brand?
Well, I'm 36 years in the industry now. I started out with Kawasaki, 20 years with them. Worked for the Orange Bike Company for 9 years. Last couple of years with them, I handled Husaberg in the U.S. and Canada. Got the chance to import gas while I was doing gas. Also heard that Sherco was looking for an enduro importer.
Mm-hmm.
In the U.S., so I visited them in 2012. Liked what I saw. Felt like it was a good opportunity, so jumped on it, and
Nice.
now I'm in my 5th model year with them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, that's great. I mean, the bikes visually are really nice, and we know with the history of these motors, especially the 300 SEF-R, that those things are just rock solid, reliable too. Really good bikes, overall. So the biggest question maybe perhaps on everyone's mind is, how about the parts availability? Can you kind of just briefly touch on the availability of parts and also the pricing of parts relative to, other brands?
Well, it's funny when we do demo rides and a guy gets off the bike and likes the bike. He says, it's like it doesn't even have a period in a sentence. He goes, I like the bike, what about parts? And you gotta have parts.
Right.
Guys break stuff, on a weekly basis.
Right.
And they gotta have parts. That was one of the things I was really impressed when I visited Sherco. I was shown their ordering system, and it showed inventory. And everything I looked up, they had inventory of it. There were hardly any back orders.
Nice.
So I knew that they were solid and kept a lot of parts. And I've tried my best to do the same. I've got a lot of parts. I'm probably fast approaching 900 different part numbers. Now, initially, when you kind of say that, sometimes guys look at you like, well, that's not a lot. But I actually spent the time to figure out how many parts were in a motorcycle, and it was a little less than 750. Okay. I haven't stocked any transmission parts in 5 model years. We've yet to break a gear or a bearing or anything internally in the tranny. All of the controls and bearings and things like that, brake parts and control stuff, it's all the same between the different models.
Nice.
So when you stop to think about it in those terms,
Mm-hmm.
I've got darn near everything anybody needs. If somebody fools me, which it certainly does happen, guys order stuff that I didn't anticipate, I make sure I have another one in stock. I work on the theory that if one guy needed it, another guy's going to need it.
Makes sense.
And if I don't have it, typically I do an order with Sherco on Thursday and Friday and have them ship it on Monday. About 6 months ago, I started shipping from a switch from UPS to DHL. Believe it or not, DHL has stuff from France here in 3 days.
Can't beat that.
So if I don't have it on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
I can get it. I can get it Thursday.
Nice.
So from France. So guys shouldn't worry about parts. Now, if you want to check up on me with the internet today, there's nothing that can be hidden.
Right.
If there's anything bad about anything, it's going to be on the internet. You can go to ShercoForum.com,
Okay.
and you won't find a complaint about lack of parts in the U.S.
Right.
Now as far as price, the Europeans are a little more expensive. The parts are a little more expensive, and the bikes are a little more expensive than the Japanese stuff.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
My main competitor is the Orange Bike Company and Beta, Husqvarna. I keep an eye on their parts pretty frequently, and it's my goal to be competitive with them. Now, sometimes you can't be competitive on because, for example, the Sherco comes with a solid tip shifter, okay,
Right.
where the one on the KTM is an open barrel type shifter that is cheaper to manufacture. So
Right.
I'm more expensive there, but there's a reason for it. So all the other parts are very competitive with my competitors.
Right, that's cool, and you know, some of the components on these bikes are shared, you know, with other manufacturers across the board. Some of the best brakes in the industry, as far as, you know, Brembo front and rear, and it's got the WP components. So these bikes come with a linkage in the rear, WP shock in the rear, and then in the front they come with an open chamber fork. Now some
On the race version,
on the race version,
yeah,
okay.
and the factory edition comes with a closed cartridge fork. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That was great, because I think that was something else that a lot of people kind of wanted some clarification on. There was a little bit of confusion, but so on the race model, open chamber, and on the 6 days edition.
No, factory edition.
Oh, factory
Yeah,
edition.
6 days is just graphics.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool. Perfect.
It's a limited edition. I'm only getting 22 race models. Factory edition's pretty much open order. I can get as many of those as I want, but they only offer those in January through the rest of the model year.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's great. Good information. It's all you know, pertinent questions. I think that a lot of people really care to kind of know about out there as far as parts availability, and that's great information. So, if you were to describe maybe the aftermarket level of support, kind of where it's at and where you see it going, some major companies out there, just kind of maybe touch briefly on that and what your thoughts are on the aftermarket support.
Well, I sent a bike to Bulletproof Designs early on. They built radiator guards, disc guard, swing arm tab guard
Nice.
for us. Enduro Engineering's got radiator braces for the 4-stroke. AXP's got radiator braces and skid plates. The 4-strokes come with a big skid plate, but they even have a larger one and a bigger skid plate for the 2-stroke.
Okay.
FMF does exhaust. TM Design Works does chain guide, and they're working on a chain, the rub pad on the swing arm.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Of course, Enduro Engineering does hand guards, and those are kind of universal. But
Right.
you know, I really and sent a bike to Recluse for them. They have a clutch for the 4-stroke.
Okay.
Sherco told us that they were changing the clutch in the 2-stroke after a couple years, because then it would be the same as clutch in the 450. So we've been waiting on the 450 for them to build a clutch for it in the 2-stroke.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so you know, and I'm adding companies, or companies are adding us all the time. I got an email from a seat company yesterday that wants to do seat covers, wants me to send them a seat for seat covers and things like that. So,
Oh, great.
you know, as the brand gets out, customers call their favorite aftermarket company and says, "Hey, have you got this for seats? You know, or have you got seats for Shercos, or have you got, you know, this for Sherco?" And after they start hearing that a few more times, and they start adding things like that.
Nice.
You know, we've got everything that a guy needs now covered, but there'll eventually be even more companies.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's great. You know, and I was actually on the phone with Chris from Enduro Engineering, and he said that the 300 that they had purchased to do some R&D on, they just absolutely were raving about. They love the motorcycle, and they got some things in the works as well that they're excited about coming out for, you know, Enduro Engineering products. So a lot of the things, you know, that I think a lot of people are concerned about, you know, first and foremost, you get a new bike, what do you want to do? You want to keep it protected. So, I mean, there's top-notch companies like Bulletproof Designs who we use exclusively to, you know, do the radiator guards and other guards and stuff. And obviously you got other choices out there as well to keep your bike protected right off the bat. That's a good move to go. And then as far as suspension goes, I mean, that's standard WP size springs, and that's something that we stock as well to make sure you give that brand new bike a fair chance and get the right springs in there for your weight. If you're not sure, give us a call. We'll be able to kind of lead you in the right direction. But you want to make sure that you do that and get the sag set correctly in there as well. So I don't know, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on?
No, I guess that's it. Bikes have been really good, and been been happy to be associated with the brand, and I think you know, we're going to look back 10 years down the road and go, wow, you know, here's where we started and here where we are, and it's been a pretty cool ride. So
Yeah.
you know, a lot more interest, just like yourself, you know, getting in touch with me and asking questions about it. So
Right.
pretty
that's
cool.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Clay, I really appreciate you taking some
Sure.
time out of your busy day to visit with us here and answer some of the questions that a lot of people I think really will find a good bit of information on. So thanks for touching on that. And
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Thanks for coming by.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Uh-huh.
All right. Take care now.